The Securities and Exchange Commission of Nigeria today hosted its first quarterly Post-CMC Press Conference for 2019 in Lagos. It was attended by capital market correspondents in the country. Anchored by the Acting Director General of SEC Nigeria, Ms. Mary Uduk said it was an opportunity to outline some of the key resolutions arrived at the CMC meeting.
The year 2019 promises to be an interesting one for the Nigerian capital market, as we shall undertake a review of the 10-year Nigerian Capital Market Master Plan. This review is intended to align the master plan with current realities on macroeconomic, political, and market development fronts. Meanwhile, the Commission has approved the rules on green bonds and would, in the nearest future, introduce the rules on derivatives trading. We believe all these are necessary to move our sector forward. I am glad to inform you that we had a successful CMC event. Discussions at the meeting featured updates, presentations from technical committees, SROs, and observer groups on various capital market initiatives. The discussions and resolutions at the meeting include the following. The Commission has made progress in attempting to resolve the issues around transmission of shares related to the estate of deceased investors. This process has commenced with the Lagos State Probate Registry, and the Commission, with the support of relevant stakeholders, shall carry out an engagement or enlightenment program for the Probate Registry. The Commission will direct public companies to grant its representatives and registrars at AGM meetings to address shareholders on the benefits of distributing annual reports electronically. The Financial Literacy Technical Committee has developed and included financial literacy content on dedicated web pages on the SEC website. We encourage investors to utilize these pages to learn more about the capital markets. As part of our efforts to ensure successful implementation of the complaint management framework, the Commission has ensured that all trade groups are duly registered. The Commission, therefore, is working on institutionalizing periodic meetings with the heads of trade groups to define their roles and address their challenges. The capital market community recognizes the importance of the e-IPO project to improve issuance processes and encourage more investor participation. The draft framework for its implementation has been developed and presented at the CMC meeting. The SEC has exposed the framework and rules guiding the e-IPO, and stakeholders now have up till Friday, March 29, 2019, to review and send their suggestions for improvement. The existence of a harmonious relationship between the Commission and the CAC is very vital to the development of the Nigerian capital market. To this end, a technical committee would be constituted to address mutual issues of concern between the Commission and the CAC. In addition to the resolutions reached by the CMC, members held discussions on other pertinent issues in the Nigerian capital market. These include engagement between the Commission and CBN on margin lending has since commenced. However, deliberations are still ongoing on the inclusion of bank shares in the margin list. The Market-wide Committee on Identity Management and Account Validation for Transactions in the Capital Market was enjoined to fast-track its activities. In furtherance of this initiative, the Commission is to engage the CBN to facilitate the validation process through NIPS. It was acknowledged that the materialization exercise was successful. However, the implementation of this initiative was restricted to shares of listed companies. Consequently, the CMC is advocating for the extension of the exercise to shares of unlisted public companies. This would enhance liquidity and ease market processes. The market advocated for the Commission to take strong actions against company secretaries who aid the trade of shares of unlisted public company companies outside a SEC-recognized platform as required by law. To showcase the immense potentials of the commodities ecosystem to the economies of subnationals, the Commission, in collaboration with the Commodities Ecosystem Implementation Committee, is planning activities to sensitize members of the Nigerian Governors Forum, especially now that general elections are over. To this end, an international conference is being proposed to hold in September 2019 with experts from within and other jurisdictions expected to be in attendance. The market was also informed of some successes recorded thus far in the regularization of multiple share subscription. Through this exercise, some Nigerian investors in diaspora have been able to consolidate their shareholding accounts. Similarly, several local investors with numerous accounts have also been able to consolidate their investments. We therefore enjoin the general public to take advantage of this initiative to regularize their shareholding accounts before the December 31st, 2019 deadline. We crave the indulgence of the ladies and gentlemen of the press to assist on sensitizing the public on this initiative. We continue to seek the support of the media and the collaboration of the entire market as we strive to build the capital market of our dreams. Thank you.
Ms. Mary Uduk, also accompanied by some of the members of the Executive Council of the Commission, entertained questions from the market correspondents. In an interview with the Vice Chairman of the Association, Stockbroking Houses of Nigeria, Mr. Akinshola Akeredolu, gave further insights on the margin trading in capital markets.
The issue that happened in 2008 that we're discussing is the fact that there's something called margin call. Margin call is when your equity contribution towards the margin falls below the cover. You have to be able to make up for that shortfall to meet up with the required cover at any point in time. But in 2008, some people did not make margin calls. Margin call means that the moment you fall below that particular threshold, an instruction will be sent to you for you to shore up your cash position or inject more equity into it. If you don't shore up your cash position or inject equity into it, then the margin lender has the right to sell off the portfolio, realize the money back so that there will not be any loss. But then in 2008, some people allowed the margin call part whereby when the fall short of the threshold, for them to activate that margin call and sell, they did not sell. But with the guidelines that has come up from the commission and the issue of the risk-based supervision, it makes it easier for people to participate in that margin lending space. And effectively, with the new guidelines, and SEC has also suggested a basket of shares that are marginable, that you can put into a margin basket, not that you just select any set of funny shares and put them into the basket and you use it to borrow money to buy more shares. There are a certain number of shares, quality of shares that are allowed that can go into that margin basket. The issue of the bank part of it is a bank would, for the baskets, will bank shares be allowed to be in that basket? That was the issue. Now, what CBN is saying that bank shares should not be allowed to be in that basket, so that it does not come to a situation whereby banks start borrowing against their shares. But there are some arguments that said that for a particular bank, you should not allow your own bank stocks in the basket. Then other banks should be able to allow those stock for another bank stock to be allowed in their basket. But CBN for now is saying no, and the discussion is ongoing on that. The impact of that is that we know that the banking stocks at least on the equity bourse on the Nigerian Stock Exchange constitutes almost about 30% of the market cap. So if you take out bank stocks out of that space, what it means is that you've reduced the float that can be created for liquidity, for trade and for leverage in the margin space in that particular sector. So we're speaking to CBN, or the Commission is speaking to CBN to see whether that waiver can be given so that bank stocks can be allowed into that basket.
2019 holds great prospects for the Nigerian capital market, and it is expected that the CMC will work assiduously to effectively review the capital market master plan to ensure it aligns with the current macroeconomic realities in Nigeria, thereby further deepening the market.